Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill, right now on States and Kingdoms. Welcome back to States and Kingdoms. Today we're talking about Steely Dan's first album, Can't Buy a Thrill. So, what you think?
My least listened to Steely Dan album from their first iteration.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true for me as well. Although, I do really enjoy it. So, of course, this is of their first iteration. This is the only album that we have not done a video for.
Right.
And then, of course, we have not done Two Against Nature or Everything Must Go.
Yes.
Yet. So we haven't quite completed.
You know, originally we were going to do ranking things, but I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't like ranking videos.
It's too hard.
No, I just,
But then we're going to fight, and then they're going to fight.
Well, that's what we should do. Ranking videos and a fight to the death. That's how you get the algorithm really on your side.
That's true.
Fight to the death, everybody.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Album reviews to the death.
Mm-hmm.
No.
To the pain. Shut up. All right. Anyway, so
Oh, God.
I had an attitude about this a little bit.
I know. I noticed.
Well, no, just because Donald
Remote
Fagen
me.
isn't singing every song,
Yeah.
I consider this not a
Full.
whole Steely Dan album.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, it's not.
I'm not sure why he doesn't sing every song. I mean, I've read that he didn't want at least one of the songs on it and didn't want to sing it. That seems, I don't know if I totally buy that, but
I feel like even with this group lineup, in this early album, I still feel like if he didn't want a song on the album, it probably wouldn't have made it onto the album.
he has the best voice, though.
So yeah, absolutely. Most distinctive and yeah, perfect.
This album just starts, it actually always kind of makes me smile, because the first song, Do It Again, is so Steely Dan-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way that song begins, it's, I don't know. It's just fun and like full of promise.
Well, yes. I mean, of course, at this point, it's so iconic and.
Right. It's sort of like, remember that, what was it, Family Guy joke with the TV, the first TV
No.
broadcast, where it said, get ready for 80 years of crap.
Oh, yes.
When this song starts, when Do It Again starts, it's like, get ready for, a lot of really awesome stuff.
Music, yeah.
This
This is a great debut, I think, even though, like you said, I understand what you mean. It's not
No, you don't.
like, I understand. It's not like the final it's like not exactly the full
Well, he just doesn't sing every song.
personnel. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. In a way, it's like with the way they ended up structuring things and how they, it's really just the two of them and like lots of session players.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, it's like there's just a few too many people on, like, that we call in the band right now.
Yeah.
So they fixed that.
So Do It Again, it just has all of the Steely Dan stuff on it. The Latin beat. Mm-hmm. It's great hooks. An interesting structure.
Yeah, really cool bridge, really nice shifts, dynamic, it moves, does all the stuff that Steely Dan songs do.
It's so hard to put, and immediately it's like, what is this? It's
awesome.
It's got some, bluesiness, jazziness, blues jazz.
Countryness.
It's got some folk stuff in it.
Folkiness.
It's some R&B.
Yeah.
And
that Bobby Short vocal.
Bobby Short. It's just with that Latin beat, which of course was, fairly commonplace. It wasn't, at the time, and in the 60s and even earlier. Does anyone remember Xavier Cugat?
Right. The girl from Ipanema.
Yeah. And, but it's just such style, so perfectly crafted right away, and it just sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. Then Dirty Work, which is the song that I read he didn't want to sing. This is a great song and very Steely Dan-like.
Pretty sure he sings that live.
David Palmer, he reminds me of like Joe Butler.
Yeah.
When he would sing in Love and Spoonful, he's
Yeah,
got that kind
similar.
of very folky.
It's a nice voice.
He is,
It's
yeah.
a nice voice. But yeah, you do want a little more.
Doesn't
of
have the
Fagen.
character
Yeah.
of Donald
Donald
Fagen.
Fagen has a voice you can bite, really sink your teeth into. It's got a real juiciness.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else. You said juiciness. I was like,
Oh.
It's like, shh, Jenna,
Don't say that.
don't say that.
They're Italian.
Kings has very wonderful lyrics, awesome guitar.
Very
Elliot Randall.
catchy chorus.
They always had such incredible guitar playing
Yeah.
on their records.
Some really nice solos on this album. With the vocal, the harmonies, like classic sounding. Even though they will change a little bit with who's doing it, but you got that Donald Fagen.
We always talk about how in Steely Dan, it always feels like they could have written. Like, it's hard to talk about progress or development with them in a way. I just feel like they could have almost done anything at any time if they'd been allowed to, or just if it had
the time,
had the time to do it.
Like if they didn't hear, they're like, oh, we're touring still,
and there's definitely more rock oriented. Although they really were up until like Royal Scam. Yeah, I mean it's still pretty much split. Yeah. More like jazz harmony coming in, but they could still pull off a pretty straightforward like country tinged rock song for very, and his delivery when he's doing like a narrative story is very folky, very kind of Bob Dylan-ish,
totally.
And so you do get that, but here you still have like things that they're going to expand on. They're still here.
They're already here.
They're just not being emphasized.
Yeah.
The same way.
Clever boys.
This is really interesting. So Midnight Cruiser to me is the song that sounds like least Steely Dan-ish on this. Because we talked about this before. At the time, Allman Brothers or of course the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I always think of the Doobie Brothers.
It could have been.
Like
it could have been some. Yeah, it could have been
more
that.
Normal counterpart. We argued about this before. We had a big fight to the pain when we were talking about Midnight Cruiser before, and I was saying no, it is a Steely Dan-ish song, and it could be on any album. But I don't want to fight about it anymore. I understand what you're saying.
You son of a bitch. There are a couple of songs on this that are just could be almost to me on any album. Only a Fool Would Say That is one of them. It has
that great rhythm. It goes like this, and then
the
it
vocal,
does like this, and it does like this.
The way he phrases things, it's all there. It's really all there.
Oh well, yeah, because when you're talking about traditional development with a band, maybe the way the lead singer sings changes. It doesn't.
Not really.
His voice is amazing, and it probably gets better, but it's really, really good here already. I'm just saying he probably improved.
If you didn't know this was on, if you really knew nothing about Steely Dan,
you wouldn't know.
And no one told you, that
they didn't tell me
when they wouldn't take me. No one told you when this was from.
Yeah,
you could easily think this was from a later album.
Yeah, I don't think you could place it.
Unlike Midnight Cruiser.
Right. So, Reelin' in the Years, of course, what can you say? I'm just kidding.
Reelin' in the Years walks into a doctor's office wearing a duck.
Wait. So, Reelin' in the Years.
Yeah.
And what can you say about this song?
Perfect.
Everyone knows it. So popular, so famous, still played on classic rock radio all the time.
So popular.
So popular. Love to touch. Okay. So, Reelin' in the Years might be the one Steely Dan song that people know. If you say, hey, do you know any Steely Dan song? And be like, no. You're like, do you know Reelin' in the Years? They're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you're suggesting so many movie quotes with everything you say.
That's
you gotta stop.
I have no style of my own.
People know.
I know.
Sensitive Operations Unit. Reelin' in the Years. People know.
So that being said, all the things I just said that made perfect sense. That being said, even me, I take this song for granted a little bit. Even me. Stop it! This is just the way I talk. So I even take this song for granted a little, but when you really, really listen to it again, even after listening to it for years and years, and knowing it backwards and forwards and frontways and sideways and slantways, when you listen to it again...
When you smooth it out, you go into an Abbott and Costello routine now.
It's so good. God, what a good song.
It's perfect.
It's such a great, perfect, wonderful song. It's still exciting after hearing it so much. When you sit down and listen to it, give it your full attention. It is just a perfect song.
And the guitar, it's Elliot Randall. I think it is just,
awesome solo. The drums,
one of the best guitar
rhythm
sounds.
of it,
Awesome.
the way it just moves, everything about it. I just love this song.
It's a perfectly balanced song. It's satisfying to listen to every time.
Yeah.
It's incredibly catchy.
Yep.
It's just what an amazing song. Fire in the Hole is interesting. It's kind of commentary-ish and real. You gonna laugh at me?
No, I was gonna say this song reminds me of Throwback the Little Ones.
Oh.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a Nam flashback.
It's got a similar quality. It's like a little bit of a quietness and stillness to it. It's like a very kind of soft song.
It's about as direct lyrically as you're gonna get, I think, to like an actual sort of comment on something.
Yeah.
Change of the Guard is too, basically. They're both usually later they wouldn't be quite so clear.
Yeah, I love the bridge in Change of the Guard. I think it's so exciting. It just all of a sudden the song just sort of opens up and the bridge just kind of like does this like propelling forward thing. Really, really cool like chord changes.
So it all gets wrapped up with a just absolutely amazing song that really of all of them, I mean, it does kind of sound like it could have been on Countdown to Ecstasy.
Turn That Heartbeat Over Again was always my favorite song on this album. When I first listened to this, it was always my favorite, and I still love it.
The harmonies are wonderful.
It's a gorgeous dynamic song. It really goes through a lot of different changes, and I love every single one of them. It like ramps up and then it steps back and goes quiet and then it comes back. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's something about it that some of the harmonies just remind me of a number of things that would be coming. But yeah, definitely stuff on Countdown to Ecstasy. But yeah, it's a fantastic. So it's a great debut. It really is. I mean, I haven't thought of it as not being a full album or whatever for a long time.
That's a very silly thing.
I know. I'm very sorry. Don't apologize. Sorry. You should be. It's hardly surprising that they would be able to turn out a fantastic album like this first.
They were pros.
It even has, we talk about like this kind of cinematic quality that Steely Dan has. It's got that.
Always.
Lyrically, they would be, I think lyrically is where, obviously they would get more interesting, through the whole album. The next album, to me, is, there's more humor in it. There's more kind of, I don't know
what people like to call that, like...
irony.
And biting wit.
Yeah. There's more of that on the next album. It's really very good. It's very enjoyable.
It's a really fun album to listen to. I do love it.
And honestly, the guitar playing is incredible.
It's beautiful.
Some awesome guitar playing.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Please let us know in the comments below what you think of Can't Buy a Thrill. And please like this video and make sure to subscribe to States and Kingdoms. We have more videos coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please stick around and we'll see you next time.